MLB to the NBA. Free agency officially starts today. Players can begin signing with teams 6 p.m. Eastern time this evening. A lot of groundwork, though, has already been laid yesterday. Players having until 5 p.m. to opt out of deals, including LeBron James, who did, declining the final year of his current deal with LA to the tune of $51.4 million. His agent, Rich Paul, says James wants a better roster in LA and will work with them to make that happen, even if that means a pay cut, as we use quotation marks. Pay cut. Oh, Woj in the building. His Super Bowl. Phone's about to go crazy this morning and throughout the day. Woj, what does this mean now for the Lakers with James opting out?
Well, he's going to sign a new deal regardless with the Lakers. He'll get a chance to play with Bronny, and he'll decide how the length of that deal. He could do a 3-year, $162 million deal. He could do a 1+1. But there's a sense probably LeBron James starts to really take this year to year. But what he's telling the Lakers is if they can find an impact player at the mid-level exception, about $13 million, whether that's a Klay Thompson, a James Harden, a Jonas Valanciunas, maybe a couple others. This is not a star-laden free agency class. He will take less on his contract to allow the Lakers to add that exception into their payroll. Right now, he's due to make about $50 million plus with his new deal. He'd have to take about $20 million less for the Lakers to have their full mid-level exception. But James Harden, he's going to get more than double that probably to return to the Clippers. Valanciunas, Klay Thompson, there's certainly other options for them. It's not going to be easy for the Lakers, whether LeBron is willing to take a pay cut or not, to land an impact player at that spot. But he said he's willing to do it.
And how long is he giving the Lakers to work with a potential timeline? Because now James has to tune up for the Olympics in Vegas here in a couple of weeks, right? So he probably wants to divert his attention. Well,
the market itself, these kinds of players are probably going to come off the board pretty quickly in free agency. So I don't know that it's going to be a real relevant point about when camp is. These kind of deals with these kind of players tend to move within the first 2-3 days at the latest.
Okay, it's going to get active. Let's stay in LA. Something Paul George potentially might not do is he now opts out of his year there. So what are some options now for PG?
Well, number one, he's going to meet with the Clippers. He's going to meet with the Philadelphia 76ers, who are a significant threat to lure him away, and also the Orlando Magic, who also have the cap space along with Philly to sign Paul George. He and the Clippers have been negotiating for a year. They haven't gotten there on a deal. The Clippers got there on a 3-year deal below the max with Kawhi Leonard. They want to do the same kind of deal with Paul George. There's a new collective bargaining agreement. There's a new salary cap, and the Clippers feel like they've got to take those players at a little bit less to put a group around them that's good enough to win. And you've also got players in their mid-30s. What they've not wanted to do is do a 4th year on a Paul George deal. I think if they had, he might already have committed back there. And so certainly right now in Philadelphia, in Orlando, their willingness to go to a 4th year makes those very attractive destinations for him. If the Clippers were going to offer that 4th year, they probably would have already. But for Paul George to walk away from L.A., that's home. His family is there. He went back to the Clippers because he wanted to be there. Not easy, but he's going to meet with the Clippers, Magic, Sixers, or Clippers, Magic, Sixers, beginning late tonight, and then into Monday.
6 p.m.
All right, a happy, I guess, first day of free agency in about 12 hours. It is early Sunday morning here in Bristol, Connecticut. This feels like the same spot I was in a year ago when Damian Lillard asked to be traded and there was mass chaos. We will see if we will get mass chaos today. So I kind of wanted to do a video. We didn't do one after the DeJounte Murray trade on Saturday just because I was in a car heading up to Bristol. I tried to do a video. It just didn't work out. It would actually have been a pretty good video. And just to kind of look ahead to what to expect on 6 o'clock Eastern on the 30th, which is today, Sunday. A lot of stuff went on Saturday, certainly. Certainly a lot of Paul George stuff. I want to talk Brooklyn. Knicks trade. I want to talk why Rashawn Holmes restructured his contract. I want to talk about the Murray trade. I think we'll probably start with the Murray trade. So the Murray trade, and I had said that the deal had to be done right, by prior to July 1st. because of Murray's extension kicking in and the numbers working, actually will not be done until July 6th. And when you're so programmed that where I am, I'm focused on the 2024-25 salaries. 2023-24, New Orleans is $280,000 below the luxury tax. And how a trade bonus works, it actually works as real salary. When you make a trade once the season's over and you're taking a $30 million player for a $25 million player, that does not impact your luxury tax bottom line. What it does is it impacts your tax bottom line if that player has a bonus, a trade bonus in here. So DeJounte Murray's trade bonus was $12 million. When you either spread it out over 3 or 4 years, that's an added $3 million or $4 million to the Pelicans' bottom line. So, for example, by moving it to July 1st, New Orleans will not have to pay the luxury tax because the new year starts July 1. The deal to get expanded. However, keep an eye on New Orleans having to add another player, possibly a guy like Matt Ryan. Maybe there's a sign-in trade in place because they are short about $2.1 to $2.2 million. So that deal will not get done until we believe, unless New Orleans wants to pay the luxury tax and lose out on $12 million, that deal will not get done until July 6th when the moratorium is over. So that's a little bit in a nutshell as far as the semantics from the Murray trade here. We thought it was going to get done because the extension, once the extension kicks in, it goes from like 18 to now it's like 27. It's a big gap in numbers there as far as to get the money to work. Certainly within $7.5 million there. So you are short as far as what's going out and what's coming in. Brooklyn and New York's trade has not been official. I would expect that to get done on July 6th. I would expect it to expand. I would expect New York to add a player in the mix, whether it be a player on their roster or a player used in a sign-in trade. The Knicks are not going to hard cap themselves at the first apron. That's not happening. So they'll hard cap themselves at the second apron, which is 189.5. It will give them an $11 million more in flexibility. They'll have $20 million basically to fill out their roster. If they trade Mitchell Robinson, they will be able to hopefully bring back Isaiah Hartenstein. He will get offers once free agency opens. Certainly keep an eye on Orlando for him. Keep an eye on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in Orlando. They have $52 million roughly in cap, $49 million in cap space. They can split it up and use it on both players. They declined the option on Mo Wagner, who I like and will have value certainly on the open market, and certainly Joe Ingles here. So keep an eye on Orlando for like I don't want to call them like the tier B guys after LeBron and Paul George, but the next layer of guys. So keep an eye on Orlando there. Keep an eye on Brooklyn, New York trade expanding for New York, adding another player. Speaking of LeBron, I wrote about it, and I'm not going to pat myself on the back as far as the contracts we would like to see about LeBron taking a discount. Dave McMenamin came out and said it yesterday that he will take a discount based on 3 players: Klay Thompson, James Harden, Jonas Valanciunas. I laughed when Valanciunas got thrown in there. He's like, wow, if I were him, I would take that deal right now. So here's how it would have to work. Basically, the number is right around $30 million for LeBron James to sign a 1 year, $30 million, and then basically do another deal next year because they'll have bird rights, and then you can max them out next year. So it's a $20 million haircut. You probably will lose Max Christie in that deal. We'll see what happens with D'Angelo Russell. Certainly, if Russell gets traded, that changes the dynamics there. But $30 million is the magic number when you're looking at LeBron. That will get you the non-tax mid-level exception, which is at $12.9 million. Will it get you Klay Thompson? I don't know. I think Dallas is in the I don't want to call it the driver's seat, but I think Dallas has a strong position to go get Klay Thompson, either with their non-tax mid-level, or they created a $16.1 million trade exception from the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade. I tweeted it yesterday. You can acquire players now using your exception. So if you want to acquire Quentin Grimes with your biannual, you can to expand it. I know Dallas has another trade exception. They can do that also, and also keep your biannual here. I think for the Lakers, if he can get more in Dallas, I think he's going to go there. That would require Golden State to do a signing trade. as far as with Klay going to Dallas. The Mavericks will be hard capped one way or another. What does that mean to Derrick Jones? I don't see a scenario where you keep Klay Thompson and Derrick Jones unless you're really moving out salary. I think that's going to be the challenge there. You could sign Jones with your non-taxing and acquire Thompson with your with your trade exception, but you are over the first apron and you will have to move out additional salary here. So that's a little bit on Klay Thompson. Certainly, Paul George, we were waiting on the world for Paul George, opts into his contract. It opens up a lot of different scenarios. I thought we were leaning towards that around 4 o'clock yesterday. He certainly opts out of that contract. So what does that mean? Basically, there's 2 scenarios here. He's either going to re-sign with the Clippers or he's going to sign with Philadelphia or Orlando. I don't see a scenario where there's a sign and trade, and I wrote about it, and it's possible, but it's really a long shot, where the Clippers and Philadelphia engage in a sign and trade, and the Clippers create a trade exception, because here's what's going to happen. Philadelphia gets hard capped. You acquire a player in a sign and trade, that hard caps you. So when you add Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and once you fill out your roster, you are going to be right at the first apron. You cannot exceed $178.7 million. So I don't see a scenario where there's a sign-and trade in place. I don't see a scenario where there's a sign-and trade in place in Golden State. I just don't see the numbers worked. If Golden State had an opportunity, they would have gotten him opting into his contract. What does it mean for the Clippers? I would expect James Harden to be back. I would expect them to go use their non-tax mid-level exception on, DeAnthony Melton, Max Christie, guys like that. There'll be a list of guys as far as wings out there. So that's the scenario with the Clippers here. Patrick Williams goes back to Chicago, 5 for 90. Keep an eye on what happens with DeMar DeRozan. Literally, there is no market for Zach LaVine. They are trying to give him away and attach a first-round pick. I've been told that by multiple people, and that is not happening. So if there's no unloading of the LaVine contract, then DeRozan is just basically hanging in the wind. Keep an eye on Philadelphia. If they have available cap space, could have around $14-15 million after it's all said and done. That's basically him going. I don't know why DeMar DeRozan. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's a $25 to $30 million guy. I've said this all along. He plays 92% of his regular season games. DeMar DeRozan plays. Keep an eye on the cap space teams. Utah, certainly with Markkanen, he is certainly in play if the right deal is there. We are looking at Detroit taking back contracts. Certainly, San Antonio's got to create room. They're not there. They'd have to waive Devontae Graham. Who else is out there? Orlando, certainly, with Cole Pope and Hartenstein. Oklahoma City, I could see the Thunder basically. They decline the options on Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins. Basically, they're going to assign those guys to extensions. You don't decline an option on Isaiah Joe, who becomes an unrestricted free agent, and then basically let him hang in the wind. They will be signed. They will be signed to new contracts. That will probably be where the Thunder's cap space goes to. What else we got here? Rashawn Holmes basically declined his option. They re-signed him to a new contract. The reason why is they lowered his number. He can fit into a team's non-tax mid-level exception if he was traded. That fits in there. That's why they did it. It would hard cap a team because when you use the non-tax mid-level exception to acquire a player, it hard caps you. We got a lot of different the rules. Here's a quote a team said to me. They basically let us build a really nice house. The county inspected it, gave us our permit, and a year later they asked us to knock it down. These rules, I'm not going to give the word, have screwed up a lot of teams here. Really have. I mean, look at Denver and Caldwell Pope. Certainly you can bring him back, and I think you might have a chance that you are going to lose him here. So keep an eye on Miles Bridges. Keep an eye on Tyus Jones. Keep an eye on Klay Thompson, DeRozan, Paul George. It is not a great free agent class after you get past those guys. It's really poor. No offense. Keep an eye on Donovan Mitchell extension possibly. Certainly we've talked about De'Aaron Fox. Certainly keep an eye on Brandon Ingram. That's probably your wild card if a guy does get moved. Keep an eye on Markkanen as a guy that potentially could get moved if there is the right deal out there. I think if you're Utah, you want to get better. How many more draft picks do you want? Markkanen's in the last year of his contract. They've got cap space. They can renegotiate in August. We've got our free agent guide out, brand new. We changed up a bunch of things from the draft here. So an 11 7-minute video. I know I'm rambling, but it's 6:34 in the morning.
Jenkins, my pistol's out now. Make sure y'all go run that up. You heard it live from your boy Bobby Shmurda. Get out.
Chase gang.
You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my pistol? My pistol. Where would I be without my? Them niggas caught me lacking, had that thing right by my side. Already one in the head, nigga, this shit do or die. You fuck around and lose your life, you come and playing with mine. I told them boys this shit get hot when you playing with fire. Boy better not jump up on that block if he ain't ready to ride. Goofy musta thought it was cool, we just trying to survive. That musta went over his head, same way bullets gon' fly. You know that shit ain't got no name once they open they glide. Need to stop shooting from that corner, nigga, run down my side. Niggas saying they doing drills, taking innocent lives. Niggas shooting for clout, they never really hitting them guys. I keep it on me all the time, but would I be without my? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my?
Where would I be without my Glocky? She a thotty, she be all over my body. Can I love you or you are for everybody? If I leave, she coming right beside me. Like, was only one by my side. Not go on me, play nigga, you gon' die. The eyes broken up niggas, they been fried. Like, free skin, he got locked for homicide. Like, so I'm trapping on my lonely. And I'm swerving in the foreign by my dolly. And these niggas outside not really my homies. Free gang, free broke, free the homies. Like, why they talking like they on that, but these niggas ain't on shit. All my niggas sliding and my niggas talking blicks. Baddie on my side and she really with the shit. Talking real crazy, she gon' push a nigga away. So I'm trapping on my lonely.